authentic Cherry MX switch, bank of macro keys, media controls, RGB lighting, and that little piece of plastic to help you hold your mouse cord. So many features. Such a fair price? Find out more. I'm Rio, and this has been Rio G on Keyboards. On the front of the board we have a very gamer inspired motif with, of course, bank of macro keys. I really appreciate that. Media controls, very much appreciate that. A volume scroll wheel, does not get any better. Once again, that little piece of plastic that holds the mouse cord together, very much appreciate that as well. And the RGB lighting is nice, but is not so bright. However, of course, no keyboard is perfect, and this is pretty close to being perfect. Pretty close. Just pretty close. On the back of the keyboard we have this cool looking logo of the G.Skill RipJaw RGB mechanical gaming keyboard. Following that is rubber feet to help the keyboard feel planted when typing. Sadly, the feet does not have rubber, but what we do have is USB ports and headphone jack ports, which is greatly appreciated once again. Following that is braided cable, bonus points for me, and gold tips USB. Once again, this is very, very good to have. When it's completely dark, the lighting effect is actually really nice and bright, and you can sort of see what the problem is there already when it's completely dark. When it's not so dark, when there's low light situations, the lighting is really not that bright, even though you turn it to the maximum brightness setting. It's not as vibrant as you would hope for in something, say like a Corsair product, or something along the lines of maybe a Razer Chroma. I haven't done one of those yet, but I heard that the lighting there is very, very good. Lighting here it's not bad. Once again, the whole theme of this particular keyboard is not, there's no one thing that's bad. It's just everything is sort of decent to average, and there are other things that are actually good, but the lighting in this particular case is just okay. It's not the best, definitely not the worst, but it could definitely be better than this, most definitely. On the software side, G.Skill does a pretty decent job with their software, and one thing that I really want to note is that the profiles you have, see how it says save to device memory? Yeah, I very much like this particular feature, which means that you're not tied to the software, you're tied to the keyboard. So that if you were to bring your keyboard to friend's place or things like that, you don't have to re-log in your profile. Everything is seamlessly there. I very much appreciate that. And once again, there's a bank of macro keys for a very particular reason, and that particular reason is to have macro features, which is fantastic for those MMO players. Now we have 3 different modes because we have 3 different memory settings for those bank of macro keys, but it's not only the bank of macro keys though. You can change any other key besides the macro keys, which once again, very much like that feature. Then we have our polling rate, our N key rollover through USB, by the way, and repeat rate, repeat delay. Then we have our lighting, which there are some things that I do like, and there are some things that I think they should just not continue this route. What I do like the fact is that it's simple, it's not overly complicated, and it's very user friendly. What I don't like is that it's a double-edged sword because it's overly simple. So if you were to turn on effect lighting, you have to choose a lighting effect that would be compatible with your background lighting. So let's say if I choose Changeling, which is an awesome name for a lighting effect, by the way. Go Zerg. So if I choose Changeling, I can't have background lighting because it's not compatible with background lighting. So if I were to choose Ripple, now it is compatible with background lighting, and I can enable that feature by going to effect lighting, clicking on Ripple again, and then having it enable background lighting. And notice how the background lighting isn't lit up in the software, but it is in the keyboard. So you have to go back to the background lighting to change your background lighting, to then go to your effect lighting, enable that with the compatible effect lighting to have your background lighting. Yes, that is the problem that you just witnessed. In terms of gaming, the Cherry MX Brown is once again the jack of all trades, the master of none. For MMO gaming, I really do appreciate the fact that there are 6 bank of macro keys and 3 memory switches on top of that to make it 18, which is greatly appreciated for MMO. In terms of FPS, it is quite comfortable to hold for long durations. In terms of RTS, it's just decent. Once again, it's Cherry MX Browns, and in terms of gaming, it's as far as Cherry MX Brown is going to get. And besides the macro keys, I really do not see any other ways that this particular keyboard enhances your gaming experience besides looking very pretty, because RGB. Once again, Cherry MX Brown is the jack of all trades and the master of none, and for this particular keyboard I have to say there is a popping effect with every single keystroke, and that is very, very satisfying to type. A lot more than the usual MX Brown would be, but I'm guessing it's probably just the keycaps or this particular keyboard in general. And as of course, I'll link the video down below so you can hear those satisfying pop noises. And of course, to conclude it, once again, it's as good as Cherry MX Browns will go, and in this particular case, it's just that little bit better. For the retail price of $129.99, it is very, very budget friendly considering the features that you get, and just overall the keyboard is very well done, but it's not perfect once again. But if you are cross-shopping this with the Corsair, maybe you might just save yourself $20, $30, maybe $40 off for this one instead of the other one. But you need to be sure that the lighting is not going to be as good as the other one though. Let it go, make my body go, make our bodies high.